Hi everyone. Thank you very much for subscribing and continuing to listen to the audios that I put out on my YouTube channel. So I don't usually do an audio of me speaking about my own life experiences, but I wanted to do one today. So if you've been listening to some of the audios, you may have heard a few authors talk about just health and healing. And because the next audio I will be uploading, the next audiobook, will also be making references to healing yourself, which is why I thought I, would talk about my own healing experiences. And this is purely to support those of you who may be unsure if you can actually heal yourself after listening to those audiobooks talking about health and healing yourself. You may think this may not be possible or there's no way I can do this. So from my own perspective, healing myself was the most important thing in my life. Without health, life can become difficult. And I just want to add a disclaimer here as well that I'm not, legally responsible for any one of you if you decide you want to do what I've done. I'm just sharing my story to give you some hope, those of you who are unsure of whether you can actually heal yourself. So I became aware of the health problems I was experiencing when I was around 8 or 9 years old. I was constantly missing school due to asthma, bronchitis, really bad hay fever, and so many other illnesses. And as an adolescent, I then began to experience other problems. I became allergic to the sun. I developed rheumatoid arthritis, rashes coming up everywhere, and nobody knew what was wrong with me for many years. And after experiencing severe breathing difficulties, I was admitted to hospital where I was diagnosed with lupus. And I nearly succumbed to the illness. I was hooked up to machines and each organ, one by one, giving up on me. And after staring at the electrocardiogram and seeing my heart rate decreasing, I didn't feel any fear, just a sense of peace, as if I knew this wasn't the end. After a few weeks, I was able to go home. I was wheeled out of the hospital with a bag full of medication and was also told at that time that lupus was incurable. And so in my head, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I will have to be on this medication for the rest of my life. The thought was just overwhelming. I'm going to include a caveat here with regards to what I'm going to say next. And that, as I said in the beginning, I'm by no means saying that you should do the same things that I did. I made those decisions to do what I did with guidance. Guidance from, my ancestors, from God, the universe. And although we are all connected, we are also all on our own spiritual path. And you have to do what's right for you at that moment in time when you are faced with these sort of decisions that you may have to make. Well, I decided I was not going to take the medication, as something deep inside of me told me that I had the power in me to look after me, and those tablets and medicines was not going to help me in the long run. And that was a hard decision to make because I could barely walk. But every time I started to put a tablet in my mouth, I just couldn't do it. So anyway, weeks went past and I had to go for a checkup. And my doctor said to me, "Oh, you're making remarkable recovery. You're looking really great." And at that time, he did not know that I had not taken any of the medication which was prescribed. So this was my aha moment, the placebo effect. I became better, but I was still not well and had to undergo months of regular checks. And I think it was around that time I started to read books by Norman Vincent Peale about positive thinking, which was the start of a deeper knowing that I am the one that can ultimately make a difference in my life. And it was around 2009 when I went to see a Buddhist monk. It was around Swiss Cottage in London, and I learned the art of meditation and mindfulness. And I also went back for a teaching course on the natural law of attraction, which I'm making into a course, by the way. But anyway, I learned about stilling my mind, body, and emotions, and living in the moment, the eternal now, to experience God's grace, love, and beauty. And I can remember the monk advising that due to karma, I should consider eating a plant-based diet. So this was 2009, and at the time I was not ready. But a few years later, I began to read more spiritual books, and then decided that I would eat a plant-based diet. And it was from that point my health improved dramatically, and the hay fever went away, and so did quite a lot of other ailments. But I wasn't completely healed, as I still could not tolerate sunlight and still had a few arthritic problems. So afterwards, I started to read more spiritual books and learn about the different spiritual systems around the world, and listen to various YouTube channels. And please let me know in the comments section if you want a list of the YouTube channels I first started listening to, the ones that inspired me in my growth, in my ascension, should we say. Please let me know in the comments below. So my soul was awakening, and I had an unquenchable thirst to know the truth. And the more I read, and the more videos I watched, the more the world began to make sense to me. Because when you're living in truth, everything then falls into place. So one thing that I realized was that the books I was reading were pointing out reoccurring biblical phrases. For example, Matthew chapter 6 verse 33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So this basically means to have an awareness of the divine working in you, through you, and as you. So I felt I was being sent a message. I started thinking deeply about those verses and asking questions to myself. How am I going to do that? How am I going to, seek the kingdom and his righteousness? How? Well, the more I read, the more the answers came in more spiritual books, which quoted biblical verses like Luke chapter 17, verse 21. The kingdom of God is within you. So this chapter and verse resonated with my spirit, a deep knowing that the universe is everywhere. And if the universe is everywhere, the universe is in me. and that I am formed by universal mind, which is perfect, whole, and complete. So if I am formed of that, and that is within me, then that is who I am, perfect, whole, and complete. Other words that came to my attention were omnipotent, meaning God has unlimited power. Omnipresent, which means that God is present everywhere. Everywhere you go, God is present. And this is why it's always a good idea to center yourself, because when you center yourself in God's love, in God's light, which is all within you. Omniscient, God has unlimited knowledge and consciousness. I started to feel that I was being guided more towards truth of who I really am, and started to feel even more whole and complete. So whilst out on a walk in nature, a realization came to me that why would something as natural as the sun want to cause me harm? Why did I get hay fever in the past from something as beautiful as flowers, to the extent that I would rub my eyes so much that they would bulge and hurt for days? As God is omnipresent, God is everywhere, even in the beautiful flowers. That's when the penny dropped. My subconscious mind was running the show, and I didn't yet believe that I was healthy, as I had been ill for many years. It knew no different. It only knew of sickness, illness, and disease or dis-ease. I had to practice, and I live constantly in the belief that the divine wholeness of the universe is present right here and right now within me, every part of my life and every experience. I am, and you all are, children of the Most High, an expression of the universe. I decided I was going to call upon this great omnipotent power to help heal me. I realized to be completely healed, I would need to change my thoughts and beliefs using meditation and affirmations. I had to convince myself that I was well. I was eating fruit in the morning and imagining the fruit mending every cell and atom in my body, saying constant healing affirmations and meditating on a healthy me. I would ground my feet on the earth whilst eating citrus fruits, for instance, because I believe they are great electricity conductors. And the electrons which are on the surface of the earth would be able to enter my electrically conductive body. So basically with the earth being negatively charged, and, with some science saying that our body can be positively charged, or sometimes they say neutral. But I believe that I was creating a circuit with Mother Earth and the air above, which is generally tends to be positively charged. But I was creating a circuit to heal myself with nature, in nature, with the universe working through me. I would walk around a lake many times, repeating affirmations out loud, like I am health, I am strong, I am power. I needed to build up my subconscious mind to accept positive beliefs about health and deny sickness. I said gratitude statements and wrote them down for everything that I had and even the things that I didn't yet have. I forgave myself by performing Ho'oponopono, and then that went on to forgive others. And then I continually sent out love and compassion, peace and healing throughout the universe, through meditation, through people, animals, plants, mountains, whatever. I was sending that energy out because it came from me and I was sending it out. And what you give out, you get back. And with the energies increasing on this earth, what you give out is coming back quicker than how it used to happen years ago. So I had to believe I was healed from within my consciousness before I was healed physically. When you look at Mark chapter 11, verse 24, what things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. So this was an important factor. I had to believe within myself that I was already healed. So each year I could see improvements. And I was totally focused on my words, my thoughts, and my feelings, which was the game changer. So here I am now in February 2022, and I have been disease-free for nearly 6 years. The last time I saw my GP is coming up to 5 years, and that was only to go and get iron tablets. And so since that time, I have never been back to see my doctor or have had any hospital appointments. This was coming after seeing a consultant at the hospital every few months to check this lupus that I had. I don't take any form of medication. Although 2 years ago, I did make my own medicine out of wild elderberries. If you want to know the nutritional value and the health values of elderberries, you can research that. It's powerful stuff. But I don't even take that anymore. And I no longer take any supplements. But remember the caveat. I'm just sharing my story. I'm not advising you to do as I did or as I do. Just giving hope to those of you who may need it at this time. It took roughly about 3 years due to my negative beliefs about healing myself and lack of faith. But I believe that healing can take place in a short amount of time, depending on your mindset. But because I was just starting off on mine, it took roughly about 2.5 to 3 years. I kept on yo-yoing back and forth with my disbelief of whether I can do this or not. But now, whenever a so-called illness or sickness starts to grow, I am totally aware of what is happening in my body. I become in tune to it. And I deal with it very quickly. I do not own any illness. I don't say, oh, my this or my that or my, weak legs or whatever, or my cold or whatever, or I don't own any illness. I talk to any kind of so-called sickness that is starting to take root in my mind. And I start to talk to it and I make peace with it. And connecting with divine mind to know I am already healed as the universe is whole and complete. So if the universe is whole and complete, so am I, and so is every cell and every atom in my body, whole and complete. And I send the growing illness away. And it disappears as quickly as it came. So I'm able to use my mind now to support my health and to heal myself in the most beautiful and peaceful way possible. And I always remember to call upon divine mind. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 6. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great mighty things, which thou knowest not. Remember to have faith and belief, and know that the universe is the source of your supply, whether that supply is health, prosperity, or relationships. Matthew chapter 6, verse 8. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of, before ye ask him. Mark chapter 11, verse 24. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So please share your own healing stories below, and let's open up a discussion about spiritual healing. Thank you for listening, and I leave you with this. Love is the greatest healer. Love for God, love for yourself, and love for everyone and everything in the universe. And that is the key to spiritual healing yourself, this planet, and the universe. Thank you.